And we're up.
Trying to eat, Benson.
Alright, hopefully we are back now. Sorry for that. Bit of a misstep. The program decided to not do anything. Wanted to show you the lists, but we couldn't. Okay. Looks like we are in the wrong order here. Move this about. And we have the control scenario. Okay, just as the fellas continue to deploy, now we'll go over to the lists. Alright. Starting with Steve, let's go through this once more. He's got two warrior infantry regiments of... two regiments of warriors? Blech. With plague pots, he's got two hordes of warriors with plague pots. So they're all got plague pots. Plague pots are a one-use item that makes it harder for his opponents to deal damage to him when they get in combat. So he gets in position, uses the pots, and then his opponent will have to think, okay, this next round of combat is going to be a bit more difficult. He's also got two troops of claw shots. Oh, I can't speak today. With long rifles, 36-inch ranged firepower. Not a lot of attacks, but they're pretty accurate. He's got a regiment of Vermintide, a regiment of the Tunnel Runners with a Brew of Sharpness, making it better to hit, rolling 3s instead of 4s, 3 weapon teams, 10 attacks each at range 12, a Death Engine Impaler, which is a type of chariot, it's pretty powerful, a Tangle, which is a type of casting unit. It's on a large base, a Titan-sized base, 75 centimeters by 75 centimeters, with a variety of spells there. A Brute Enforcer, which is a large infantry hero. Same with the Broodmother and Mother Chrysler. These are also large infantry heroes in the sort of casting range. Although they can attack, they've got 5 attacks each, hitting on 4s and 3s, respectively. And lastly, Scuddy, Skudku's Look, the Demon Spawn of Dew. A very expensive dragon-type unit. 13 attacks, hitting on 3s, with a Lightning Bolt 5. And taking a look at Jeff's list again, playing the Abyssal Dwarfs, he's got 3 troops of gargoyles, 3 hordes of obsidian golems, 4 regiments of half-breed cavalry, 2 hex casters, small little dudes that cast hex, as well as weakness. One of them has the Inspiring Talisman, giving him a source of nerve roll rerolls, and 3 half-breed champion characters. One of them has a Blade of Slashing to reroll 1 missed hit. Okay, let's go back to the table. Okay, as you can see, Stephen up the top there, deploying his rats in a pretty predictable line. He's got a lot of his warriors front and center. And on the upper right there, he's deployed his 3 weapon teams in a battery formation, keeping them all together so they can focus fire at the same target. So you've got the 2 claw shots on the upper left, sitting beside the pond. Good to have a nice clear line of sight to shoot whatever. And it looks like he's got his Vermintide at the very, very top right, if I am not mistaken. While as Jeff on the bottom left, he's got a horde of golems with a unit of gargoyles just in front of it as a screen to protect it from the fire. And he's also condensed his army right in the center. He's got the hordes and half-breeds all sort of clumped together around that house. Okay, still going there. There's a lot of units to pop down. Might repost the links to places as well, just in case. Let's just refresh this, do that. There pops the tangle that Stephen just deployed, right in the middle. And Jeff just filling the gaps there. Might be able to see his dice that he's popped in the horizontal line across his deployment, just to make it easier to see where he can deploy to. Jeff did comment at the end of the previous game that he's got to keep an eye on his clock this time. Not sure where he went wrong in terms of timing out last game, but now he's a bit more conscious of it. Not that it mattered too much, because he did take the cake, but still. Okay. Welcome back, Josh. Looks like we're still going. No issues so far. If you want a recap of the lists, I'm not going to pop them up again. You can go back and watch a previous stream. Might have been round 1 or 2. I think we have Steve Devenish. You can have a look at his list. In round 4, you can see Jeffrey Traishy's Abyssal Dwarf list. Now the scenario control, a bit simpler when compared to the previous one. You see 2 grey dots there on the table, which the players have put down. This is just to have as reference for the scoring. I'll just draw a grid, sort of like this, and sort of like the previous round where you had sort of tokens everywhere. Now it's about these sections. So each little section, 1, 2. Oh, that's a line. That's not the pencil. Blair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You need to have the most amount of unit strength in each of these sections to claim that section. You get more points if you are claiming the center of your opponents. So Steve is going for this one, Jeff is going for this one to get more. And let's get rid of all this rubbish. Pop, 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 pop. Hopefully that makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Spread out.
So it's a good one for the rats. So the rats love this type of scenario because they've got lots and lots of unit strength. So what that's going to mean is that Traishy's going to have to be a little bit aggressive just so they can churn through some of this nerve. And on that note,
click, click.
It's time for a beer.
Not sponsored.
We are not sponsored, but happy to be sponsored by a beer company. Please reach out to Direct Messiah. So I'm just going to recap just what we went through, but unfortunately unfortunately the stream did die. So Traishy just needs a draw or a win, and he comes through. He's going to be the master. Oh, he's got a drink as well. Happy days. So Paul C, who's currently in second, needs Traishy to lose by, say, a hypothetical 4 to 17, so just only getting those 4, in which case he would need a big win, a 17-4 himself. So Paul's going to need a 17-4 or more against AG, which is not going to be easy. AG's in a similar boat, but a little bit more complicated. So he needs Traishy to lose once again, and then score, say, a 21 against Paul C, which is not going to be easy either in that matchup. Then you've got a couple of the fringe scenarios here. So Stephen's going to need to win a 21 against Traishy, and then Paul and AG to draw or have very small wins. Max needs a 21 zip and Traishy to be 21 zipped. And then Paul C and AG to have a draw. So very unlikely for Max. I would say unlikely for Stephen. And even the Paul AG is probably pretty unlikely as well. But Paul C is probably the only one that's got an outside chance. So a 14-7 loss isn't unusual for Trash. And a 17-4 isn't an unusual win for Paul C. So I would say right now, as it lays, the tail of the tape, it's Traishy, high percentage, 80%, Paul C, 20%.
Yep.
Back to you, Benson.
Okay. So just looking at the first turn movement here, Stephen gets the choice to go first, and he does. Or maybe he didn't, I don't know, but he's going first. So he's moving everything up in a bit of a clumped formation. The tunnel runners moving onto the hill. Then we've got the horde of warriors followed up as an angle. The weapon teams close behind and the tangles to support. There comes the Death Engine Impaler Chariot. The other horde moving up, and in just a moment I'm sure the regiment will be doing the same. Curious to see what he does with the Demon Spawn. Sitting
I'll tell you what though, those hills and that tree positioning has given Traishy the upper hand. It's really nullified the shooting right from deployment. And even those other trees on the far left-hand side there, Traishy's going to have enough speed to start putting some pressure.
That's right.
On those ones. So, yeah, interesting.
So these claw shots here, because, like Selic was saying, when they're trying to see what they can see, they can't see beyond this forest, and they can't see over this hill unless there's something really tall. So we're currently looking at that sort of line of sight, which is nothing of this army. And same with this forest over here. Trash has cleverly hidden the forest from any of this claw shot fire. Even that one, they might be able to get the half-breeds in the back if they're in range. Possibly the gargoyles, probably not.
No, unlikely.
So good positioning there of his units. Limiting that fire. This demon spawn of Scuddy, for short, which is just to the south of the pond, this one here. He is a tall boy and has lightning 5, so he can see over this hill, so he's got a good shot at just about anything.
We'll get cover though.
Yeah. What's he got over there? That's his Vermintide. He is moving central again, so not spreading out at all. Trying to push that center. Okay, so the movement done. Steve is going into the shooting phase, getting the claw shots onto the half-breeds, I'm guessing. Only one hit. 1 damage.
Ooh.
The claw shots that moved, if they do fire, will going to be hindered. They don't have steady aim, so they can't move and shoot without penalty.
Nope.
It looks like he's hitting the gargoyles instead, not the half-breeds. It's a better target, but I didn't think they could see.
Yeah, I'm not sure they can.
But it's happened. So there we go. Looks like another lightning bolt here. Or it could have been one of Stephen's brood mums. They also have an 18-inch weapon. This standard brood mother has.
Yeah, I'm not sure that brood mother can see too much because of that hill, though.
Yeah, right down the middle into a house. What else is available to shoot? I mean, yeah.
Well, from our angle on the camera,
yeah,
it does appear that the hill's sort of blocking a lot of that line of sight, and then whatever the hill isn't, the tree is. And whatever that isn't, the building is. So, yeah, a bit of an interesting one there.
Doesn't look like
we'll go easy on you, Stephen, though. We'll trust you.
Jeff's turn 1. Those gargoyles are still alive. It doesn't look like they wavered or anything. They have some pretty good regen. They are regen 4, so a 50-50 chance to heal each wound whenever they move. So they might just go back to full health. wasting those
likely.
shots.
So moving up and pivot. Staying out of the woods there. Doesn't want to get shot.
Mm-hmm. If you poke your nose into the forest, they can be seen to be shot. So you've sent a half-breed champion in there, though. It'll be difficult to hit because individuals give a -1 to hit when you're shooting at them. And he's in the forest for cover.
I just don't think you can. Like, you wouldn't waste your shooting on that. That's going to be neg 2.
Yeah.
So, and 6s, and you're not going to break him in a turn anyway. And he's regen. So, yeah. Realistically, that's the perfect move to counter the claw shots. And the way that Stephen has set up here means that there's no counter to it. So he's just going to charge in, do a wound, disrupt them, second round of combat, kill them. If he doesn't kill them in the first round.
And we just see Traishy regenning those gargoyles and healing them back up.
Cunning move.
Usually you have to do it when you move, so that would mean that he's not moving them at all, unless he's going to move them now.
Yeah. We'll give Traishy benefit of the doubt.
He's a master, come on.
He is a master.
He's measuring from the back just to see where they can fit, and he's zipping them over, making a nice speed bump for those tunnel runners, which means he's going to push everything up so they can charge in his next turn. This is what we call chaff, throwing a unit away.
Yeah, so very unlike last game that if you've watched that one, Traishy used these as more scoring units and really mobile. In this scenario, what he's using it is purely, you're going to have to charge, because that's the only real unit that will actually hurt Traishy, is that tunnel runner that looks like 3 wheels on the podcast, on the stream. So he now has to charge that gargoyle unit or get charged by it next turn. So these are the options that he's left Stephen. So doomed if you do, doomed if you don't.
Looks like we're measuring the distance of the Impaler, the Death Engine Impaler. And Jeff is just staying just out of charge from it, so there's no chance of getting a sneaky attack from there. Bit more shuffling. I'm going to assume that those obsidian golems will now be in charge range to those tunnel runners, if he so chooses. And I don't think the tunnel runners are going to be able to fit to get those half-breed regiments up to the right.
So you might be wondering that what he's measuring there is purely because the Death Engine, so that chariot-looking thing at the back, that's actually height 5. So we can see over the person in front there, the little warlocky thing, as well as the hill. So it does have a couple of options itself to be able to charge. And I just wonder if Traishy acknowledges that he can see the individual. Right. Depending upon what arc it's in, naturally.
Yeah.
If it's in the front arc, it probably can't get there. But if it's
missed, like,
in the flank...
This guy could go down here and just get him in the side.
It would be throwing it away, definitely.
Well, no,
but it just depends on how much he values that.
Okay, looks like we've got either Hex or Weakness being cast. And looks like he's done 1 damage onto the demon spawn. Maybe he's hexing him, trying to prevent any damage or casting of the lightning bolt. Hex is a spell that, if it's successful, your opponent cannot cast spells if they move, or if they stay put and cast, they will take 2 points of damage for each successful die roll.
Yeah, that's right.
And looks like he's done the same thing for the tunnel runners, starting to put a little bit of damage onto them. And that's the end of Jeff's turn. No combat now. We're on to turn 2.
Big turn for Stephen, this one. To see how he's going to be...
Slowest turn of the game.
Yep. It's just how he's going to be able to navigate through this because he's blocked up a lot of things here.
Hmm.
And Traishy's got the speed on him on pretty much all flanks.
I would probably, if those warriors are on the hill, they can't see, maybe, I don't know, double charge with the tunnel runners into the gargoyles to then smash them and overrun. If the warriors can sort of go forward a bit, that then gums up Jeff's regiments there for everything else to come forward.
Yeah, he needs to be aggressive,
Chaff.
I think, as well. Yeah, definitely to sort of block everything up. What are your thoughts on the options that the half-breed champion's got in the woods? So he's got now an option to charge the Lord to stop him casting. He's also got the options of both of the shooters.
Yeah, if we go for the demon spawn, that's not a good idea because he could still move about. It doesn't actually stop him from doing anything other than casting. There are the brood mothers as an option as well. It probably won't take them out in one round of combat. I would like to go for either of the two claw shots.
I don't think either, actually. I think there's only one real option there. And I think just purely because Scuddy, the big fella, he's only inspiring, and I reckon there's one of those claw shots that is actually outside of inspiring range, so I reckon he could one-shot it more reliably. Let's just say that. The one that's far leftmost is the one that I would target. You're going to be hindered, doesn't matter whether you charge either of those two. I think that's
brood mothers though, they inspire.
Just behind. Yeah, is that 6, you think?
I mean, it is Steve, so he might be
most likely.
Clever. Like this, there might just be 6 inches. It'll be close. But I think taking them out is a good idea, just because they score, and you don't want them just taking pot shots and clearing the table later on in the game.
And they're hard to prioritize in later rounds.
Yeah.
Take them out early. You're going to need 2 rounds of combat to safely get them off and hopefully pop them in one turn, but hindered, it's a bit tricky.
So it looks like he's using his plague bots, or maybe that's just getting the token out of the way. Because I think you have to use it at the start of the turn, not when you go to move. So
that's correct. Yep.
So he's going to charge. Probably take these guys out. The gargoyles are not very good in combat. Defensively, at the very least. They have defense 3, so very easy to wound, and only 8-10 nerve. So you can do 1 point of damage if you roll a 9. Then they're out. They are inspired, so he could get lucky. Jeff, I mean.
Could be.
And it looks like he's just sidestepped those tunnel runners into the lake, or the edge of the pond there. Just so that horde could get through. Keeping that tunnel runner as backup. Up come the weapon teams onto the hill, ready to blast everything.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to save him though. I think if we have a look at this scenario right now, that individual is just going to pop out and chaff up the tunnel runners. Hopefully, most likely.
I reckon they'll be the target of the weapon team, so we'll have 30 attacks coming in.
Yeah, he's going to need to pop him.
And they can do that because they're on the hill, which makes them a lot taller than the warriors, which are no longer on the hill. There might be cover, so even if he's sitting on 6s, no piercing, so damaging on 5s. Oh wait, there is piercing, damaging on 4s.
What is it? So it's 4s and 5s potentially and 4s.
Yeah. So it's still a pretty good option.
And what have they got? 10 attacks each, is that right?
They have 10 each, yeah. So 30 attacks, not counting lightning bolt either. Okay, so just measuring the half-breed horseman range. And then he's walking the horde of infantry forward into the forest. If anything goes to charge him, it'll be hindered. And then just popping the chariots, the Death Engine Impaler, right in the center there, just shuffling it out, keeping it close to everything else. The Tangle, keep it in range, and sticking it just behind the weapon teams. Now Ratkin have a pretty prevalent rule of rally. A lot of their units, larger units, will rally and inspire. Well, I wouldn't say inspire because that's a different rule. Increase the nerve of their friends. So while it might seem pretty poor on the paper, if you've got a bunch of rallying sources nearby, it can boost it a couple of points, turning a 1921 horde into a 2123 horde, which can make all the difference.
Indeed. What's the nerve on the half-breed champs?
Half-breed champs,
Dash
I'm pretty
14?
sure they're only 12, 14, so they can be wavered.
Okay, so we should get around 5 wounds or so just from those 3 war engines on 5s and 4s. So we'll see how that goes.
Alright, now the nitty-gritty. What do you do with a big flying unit that you don't want to die?
You can't overcommit too early.
No. Gotta make sure you're out of charge range of everything, or those bloody half-breed champions can get in there and mess things up, especially if you can get into the front, because a flying unit, when it gets damaged in combat, it sort of grounds them. You lose your nimble, you lose your flying for the next turn.
So I'm assuming he's just out there. Okay, now the issue he's going to have here, so that will be... Ooh, that's probably just in, by the looks of that. But I'm pretty sure that the gargoyles there will have a front charge.
So the gargoyles down the bottom?
Yep, and they will be able to chaff him up 1 turn, and then at that point he'll be able to move his golems to be up to charge the 2nd turn.
Right.
So I wonder if he's just missed the fact that the gargoyles can see.
There's also the option of this fella just behind the house. He might be in range, and because the demon spawn's quite big, as long as these golems sort of move up a bit, little horse guy can run out and smack him in the front too.
Yeah. But that's not going to be good for him, because it will mean that he can potentially get stone golems in the front and the rear.
And I've always had the mind with Ratkin, if you're taking Scuddy, you have to keep him alive, otherwise pretty good chance of losing. Just because he's so expensive, it can do so many things. Often your army can hinge around that guy. So some dice are flying out. It doesn't look like much damage is happening. I can't see any of those white poker chips of Jeff's being laid out. But we do have the weapon teams about to blast. So
and I think this is exactly where he's going. So 30 shots, hitting on 5s, I'm assuming, with
cover.
And 4s should get, on average, 5 wounds. But let's see what the dice gods say. Jeff is like, what? So it just depends whether they've said covers or not. Yeah.
I was about to say math hammer doesn't work, but it still doesn't. You're just lucky. Okay, so he rolls a nerve. The first roll does get him. The second roll does not.
Oof. He needed that.
Or maybe that wasn't the nerve roll. Maybe that was just some extra lightning bolts. So it looks like he's put some more chips on there.
So he's got 5 wounds in. Yep.
Now 7. It's a 50-50 chance of taking that champion off now with 7 damage with a rout result of 14. Maybe he's rolled a nerve and it failed then, because we've got another bucket of dice, and I don't think Steve's got any other shooting with that.
No, it looks like a low roll. I think that was a 3 on the second roll.
Yep.
So that's good. I think Traishy sort of accepts that guy's going to die in this next turn, but he's got a couple of options of what he's going to tie up. I think that's assuming that the gargoyles die, of course.
And they do.
And they do.
Take a bunch of damage.
Unsurprising.
Doesn't take much.
No, not with their low defense. It was always a bit of a sure thing, and I'm sure that Traishy's actually quietly happy about that.
So he's got a few options to go with that half-breed champ. We can take out any of those weapon teams and start running them up.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would be taking out the weapons team.
No, they're not great targets.
I'd be chaffing up either the Impalers or the Tunnel Runners. Probably my preference would be the Tunnel Runners, and then throwing everything you've got at that horde in the center.
Yep. Make sure you get that off.
Yep.
Off the table.
I've got to overcommit on that, which is going to be tricky to fit everything in. There could be some proxy bases coming across there. And I would say by that's exactly what Stephen's thinking, but he has forgotten about the gargoyles. So all Traishy has to do here is get one wound on that big boy, and he won't be flying anywhere today.
Nope.
You're too big, sir. We can see you over that hill.
I can't help it.
I'm big boned. This is just what happens in Game 5, guys.
Yep. We start making stupid voices. Okay, Jeff's turn. Half-breed champion going for one of the claw shots.
Bottom of the second, yeah.
Whipping out that measuring stick.
So the important thing here is, does Traishy see the gargoyles? Oh, he's looking
Sensei
at the
Jeff.
half-breed a little bit. Sorry, yep, Jeff.
Thumbs up.
Mr. Trish.
Devenish putting the trees back on the forest so it looks a bit like a forest.
Thank you. Devilfish. Much appreciated.
While he has a think, he moves the easy stuff. Obsidian golems just on the left of that house, heading up onto the hill and facing the demon spawn, so he's got a plan.
When doesn't he have a plan? He had a plan walking into this game.
He doesn't have to worry too much about his flank with those golems because this is a forest, and so nothing can really see past that. That Death Engine can't really see anything there. It can only see everything to the right. So that is a bit of a problem, that forest right in the middle of the board there.
Hey Gil, we are also glad that you are able to catch the game.
Welcome. Now, do you think Devenish charges the golems with this horde of infantry in the forest?
Like,
Just to hold them
that's...
up?
Yeah. Assuming that's in the front, right?
Oh, it's a bit of a weird arc. I mean, it sort of looks like... Oh, could be a flank. I don't know, we're not there. Well,
It's tough,
I
tough
am,
to
but I'm
see.
not getting up to have a look and point things out. That'll be bad.
So, Traishy still hasn't moved those gargoyles in to pin down the big boy. I wonder if he's seen it yet. Just checking if the Impaler's in range.
A bit of a lull in audio here, so I'm not going to say anything in case they hear stuff. Got to be very vague about things, especially as this is the final game determining who takes the crown.
That's it. Traishy in the box seat, once again. Another year, another same result. Just needing a draw or a win to pretty much take everyone else out of contention. Interesting that he's withdrawn with that hero.
Obsidian Golems run into the horde of warriors on the right there. Measuring the
Opening up the
distance
flank.
with half-breeds, and he moves them back. So he's checking out the charge range of the tunnel runners, I'm assuming, or the range of the weapon teams, their potential range. Looking at the range of the demon spawn, I don't think he realizes that that's a forest as well. You can't actually see beyond that forest, I don't think.
The forest from the trees, unfortunately.
Let's get out my digital laser pointer and have a look. So this is the leader point there. And looking over here, oh, it's close. You might be able to catch, might be able to see just the back of that Obsidian Golem unit. Which means you could charge them and get them in the flank, I think. Or do you have to charge the flank that you can see? I can't remember.
No, you've just got to be able to
As long as you can
charge,
see.
and then
Okay. Okay, the half-breed champ into the core shots up the top will be handed.
Yep. There was no charge that wasn't on those claw shots, so I think that's all good. I'm still not sure. Well, I would have definitely thrown the gargoyles straight in.
And I would have put the Obsidian Golems into the forest as well, because they still can't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And who cares if Devenish sort of shoots some lightning at some defense 6 units. The gargoyles are a bit more fragile, so it makes sense to hide, but not sure what he's got planned with them in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just trying to keep them alive for the control scenario, just keep them like to the very end and then try and claim what area, what space is left.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure. I would have definitely chaffed up that Scuddy. And then next turn it's dead.
He hasn't moved the gargoyles yet, but he's looking like he hasn't seen it.
And I wonder if when he goes to move that's when he's going to notice it.
Oh, what's happening? Maybe he's seen it? He's seen it. There he goes. Doing what we thought he should do.
Okay, now he's got to move. He's got
Those golems
he's got to move the other stone golems up a little bit more so that they can get the charge next turn.
Or the half-breed down the very bottom, if they
or
move
both.
Closer. Or both. He's
You can definitely
17
see.
with defense 5.
He's like height 200 there, Stephen.
Old mate Jeff pointing at some miniatures. Look how pretty this one is. Yep, I know, I made it. Okay, rolls, I'm guessing weakness or hex, just to try and do some damage onto one of the weapon teams.
Yep.
Looks like he's done 1. And the next round of spellcasting does nothing. Rolls the nerve, does nothing. Not high enough. So we go to combat. Half-breed champion against the claw shots, hindered. Hitting on 3s goes to 4s because of the hindrance. 3 hits, 3s to damage.
Or as our very own Hugh would say, impeded.
Impeded? Sure. Couple of damage, not enough. Maybe next time. Oh, he does. I didn't see that. There we go. I guess it was just measuring the inspiring distance just then.
And was it in?
And it was not.
Yeah. It's the right move. And I think this is maybe what Jeff was trying to look at. Now, I still think that Jeff needed to move up the stone golems into those trees. Like now that he's done the gargoyles, they've moved up. He's got no real counter. He can't see them because of those trees.
Yeah. Anyway, the gargoyles did attack, and it looks like they've done 8 points of damage at least, grounding the demon spawn, so he can't fly away.
Yep, but now he's only got one counter that can be countered already. So he's effectively going to get charged by that horde, assuming it's in the front. And that's going to be that. And he won't have a counter. The big boy is going to kill the gargoyles and then pivot.
That's the end of Jeff's turn. We go to turn 3. This one might be a bit more gritty than usual because of everything that's being set up. Still lots of moves that can be made. You don't want to make a mistake that compounds into the next turn or two. Golems are definitely in range to charge the demon spawn in the next turn.
So is that dual charges there on the hero?
2 brood mums into the half-breed champion, yeah.
Okay.
They're
It's
both
unusual.
5 attacks each.
Yeah.
There are no slouches in combat. Very possible to take it off.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. 10 attacks hitting on 5s, crush 1.
Well, one of them hits on 5s, one hits on 4s.
Okay, yeah, not hindered.
And also
Yep.
Mother Chrysler has Ensnare, so if Jeff tries to hit back, it'll be even more difficult.
Not a bad win for Traishy, that counter anyway, to be honest. That's like 100 and 240 odd points. Trying to...
280.
280?
85.
That's even more than what I just said. So yeah, that's a lot of points just coming in there. Just to hold up. But once again, Traishy sort of allowed that to happen because he's been very defensive behind the forest.
Stephen moves back the demon spawn half its speed, which is 10, goes to 5, which allows the area in front of the gargoyles to move. Leaves the area in front of the gargoyles free for a charge. Looks like he's charged in to the flank because we didn't really see that the gargoyles couldn't sit in front of the demon spawn just because of the sheer face of the cliff, so he sort of moved them back a bit. So when the demon spawn moved back, Jeff should have moved the gargoyles forward a bit.
Yep.
Which is done. And Warriors in the flank now. They should take him off.
Yeah, you're never really sure with those.
They're warriors, they're crap.
They're warriors.
You say warrior, they're not really. Hitting on 5s normally, 12 attacks goes to 24. No defense mitigation, so they'll be wounding on 3s. I think he's a bit stuck here as to what to do in this big mess in the middle. It's difficult because they're so clumped together, you can't really pivot and get around your own guys.
Yep.
So we have a charge in the flank of the Obsidian Golems by the Imperial, Death Engine Impaler. There we go.
Yeah. It's the only thing that's got the crushing strength to take him out. So I think that's a good move.
It has D6 attacks, so you roll a dice and you get that many attacks, plus 7 on top. You'll get another dice worth of attacks if he was hitting small things, infantry and whatnot, but doesn't get that bonus on these big boys. So D6 plus 7 doubled for being in the flank.
Yeah, and I think this is where Traishy's potentially missed a trick, just with that wounded champion. I think he had the option to chaff up the Impaler or the Tunnel Runners, and he chose to just retreat and heal.
Yeah.
But I bet you he's going to die here.
Of course.
So
It's a lot of attacks coming into it. Although it is hitting on 4s.
Well,
we'll see.
Most of them won't be able to see, to be honest. There'll only be one that will be able to see because the Impaler's height 5 on the hill. So it's height 8. So they won't be able to see, except the ones over the back may be able to move up and get in range.
You'll get 2 weapon teams being able to fire into it. And the Tangle. It doesn't look like the Tangle's in range of that vertical one. Not from this angle, at least.
So the only other thing that may have happened that we've missed here, just based on the move, is that maybe it wavered.
Okay, right.
That would
Yeah,
make sense if
there's
he's
no
only just
marker.
moved it back and he didn't
Dictate.
charge. So that could be
Yep.
the likely scenario. Be
He didn't need much.
unusual for Traishy to miss it.
I think he was on 7 wounds, so Steve only needed to roll a 5 to waver. Easy to do. So let's not shit talk him. Let's just say that's what happened.
He is the best Kings of War player in the world. So yeah.
Stephen on the other hand.
The current master, who I was on this table last year,
yeah.
getting absolutely raffle stomped in my last game.
I may have distracted Steve saying his name too loud. I apologise. If you watch this back, you might. Probably will.
Well, yes, and Stephen Devenish does have a little bit of an issue with the clock sometimes. Analysis paralysis occasionally.
We do need to improve the setup by adding more USB ports so we can get a couple more cameras to see the clock, maybe the dice, and another mic for the table. That'd be great. But expensive.
Yeah, I think we've got most of the things.
We're getting there. It's a reasonable setup.
Yeah. That's it.
Looks like some lightning bolts or quad shots going out, plinking some damage on that obsidian golem on the hill.
Okay.
Weapon teams firing at a half-breed champion.
Shooting at a rock, fair enough.
Unless there is a cloak of death somewhere, that just automatically plinks a couple of points of damage. There must be Mother Chrysler in the middle.
That would make sense.
I think this unit right here. How about if I get a proper tool? This one. That is Mum Chrysler, has Cloak of Death, so after it moves, every enemy within 6 takes a point of damage. Automatically happens.
But they don't take a test,
No.
so there's no routes already.
Looks like shots are coming out now, dice are being rolled. Let's see where Jeff puts the chips. Half-breed champion.
Does 1 wound.
Onto the already heavily damaged champion. Puts him onto 8, if I can see. Couple more shots coming on the same target. Loading up. 5 dice. 1 hit. No damage.
A bit cheeky there by Traishy, putting those wounds on the other champion. I like that. A little bit of play. Oh, you didn't specify which one you were shooting at there, Stephen. Sorry, mate.
This might be a fireball from the Tangle.
Yep.
Which does nothing.
That's underwhelming. Tangle's going to be a little bit important here. Hard to kill, hard to take off. It's unit strength 2 with the Titan base. So in this scenario, pretty good.
Wounds too. Fearless 14.
Yeah, in the first game that was live streamed with Steve, he sort of got it tucked up the back. And it didn't do anything, and then it died. So it's good to see him using it a bit more aggressively in the final game.
Okay, so he's taken off that half-breed champ that was pretty damaged.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not sure what's happening here, but he's rolling some dice.
There's a lot of pointing. So I think we're
into combat, are we? We must be. Yes, fighting the Abyssal champion up the top left.
Top left, yeah, man.
3 damage.
Out of the 10 attacks.
And he's wavered him, if I could hear that correctly. Well, it's a good thing they have Fury, which means if they get wavered in combat, they can countercharge still.
It's only good if you remember.
Clickety-clack of the cans. Slippity-slurp of the drink.
Pirate Life, if you're listening to the stream, happy to have some sponsorships.
They're not going to listen.
They're not. They could be one of the 14 people that are watching it now.
One boss from Pirate Life. I love things in war. As we predicted, gargoyles are gone from the infantry regiment.
Yep.
Makes sense. It's a shame Jeff didn't capitalise on that earlier.
Yeah, he needed to back that up. He's just got no counter to it now.
What are you doing, Jeff?
He would have had a flank charge right now with stone golems.
Indeed. And those half-breeds are down the back as well. They're sort of not doing much. They're just sort of waiting their turn.
Yeah.
Stephen, not sure what you prefer. Pummeling those obsidian golems. It's currently being slapped on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, the death engine from the side. That's where the damage is going to come from, because it's got the crushing.
And it looks like it rolls a 3, which is not enough. Escaped that one. Steve taps the clock. We are now into the bottom of the 3rd. Jeff trying to determine which one to fight in the top left there.
So it will depend whether those stone golems still have the charge on the big boy. I don't think so.
Yeah.
He does have Fury. He can charge back.
And they're only speed 5, 10 inches away. Pardon me. Jeez, this drink.
We are also not sponsored by Coca-Cola. That's just Traishy's bottle.
Yeah. We are independent, unfortunately. That's a lot of damage on the golems. Indeed it is. What's that? 9 damage?
Yeah, looks like 9.
Still not too bad. Could be worse. He's got no healing for them though, so...
It does set up a flank charge on the death engine. It's dead.
From the half-breeds?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think, depending upon how many wounds are on the horde in front, I think it's only like about 6 or so. But I don't think he'll take that next turn either.
I'll just go over and just take a look-see and interrupt their game. We've only got 3 damage on that infantry horde.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. And there's only 1 on the tunnel runners, 3 on the demon spawn. So pretty undamaged horde there.
So I think he's got to just charge back onto that infantry horde and just keep it there.
So the problem is he's got 3 bloody weapon teams there, so if he clears any sort of room, like if those half-breeds move into the side of that Death Engine Impaler, take it out, that half-breed unit's dead.
Yeah.
The horde of infantry can just sit there and take it. I mean, they're only on 3, the Obsidian Golems hit on 4, so they don't do a whole lot of damage. They get through defense great, but they just don't have the accurate hits to sort of chew through hordes like this. So Steve's weapon teams just keep firing away each turn if anything gets within its range. And half-breeds are great targets for those weapon teams, being only defense 4.
Very juicy indeed.
In go the rocks. Doesn't come off the hill, so they don't get a thunderous charge bonus, but they don't need it since they're crushing 2 and rats defense 4.
It's fine, Stephen. That one's fine, mate.
Looks like a half-breed champion has run into the forest to slap that horde, just to sort of hold them up. Oh, half-breeds come in, do as we thought they might, and into the flank of the Death Engine Impaler.
Yeah, you got to take it out.
Yeah, you can't just
You
let it
can't.
keep going.
No.
That leaves Jeff with 3 half-breed regiments sitting there.
Easy, get it in, Jeff.
There might be
We
2
might-
hex casters to the left of the red house as well.
There is, yep. That's actually where they live, in that red house.
This is their home.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Oh, Jeff, sneaky belly move there on the Knights.
Just a bit of a nudge.
I like that. That's cunning behaviour. That's how you
That's-
become a master, ladies and gentlemen.
Top tip for all the viewers: get a bit of a pot belly, put something on the edge of the table, and sneaky nudge. Get an inch or 2.
Sneaky nudge.
Not good for your health, but also not good for the game.
All right, Hexcaster's up on the hill.
Yep. Bit hard to see.
Ooh,
But
that's
it's there.
actually quite a dangerous move.
Right here, little hexy cast.
Oh, actually, no, because he'll be blocking the line of sight with the stone golems.
Mm.
So Scuddy won't be able to just charge over the top because nobody's pinning him.
It's such a shame. Yeah, that is probably the biggest mistake that he's done. Old Jeff not pinning that guy down.
Hmm.
It's like he started to do it and then just didn't commit.
Yeah.
Because why throw away your gargoyles? I mean, it does delay him 1 turn, but you have a good chance of taking him out if you double charge with that unit that it was just holding, the half-reed regiment down the bottom, and the golems if they were in the forest to see.
Yeah, and what we're saying here is the leftmost stone golem unit, so the second from the left. I'm sure Benson will highlight it for me at some point. If this one here just moves up 1 more inch, the line of
here.
sight is now through the trees, and
Just
that
there.
move, that the Scud, the big base there, he wouldn't be able to do what he just did, or else he knows he's going to get a flank or a
Yeah.
rear. So yeah, by keeping him behind that trees, it's actually cost him.
Mm-hmm. Because he can't
quite
see,
big.
can't do anything.
Yeah. So this is an interesting move.
Pushing the half-breeds up onto the hill.
Yeah, I think he's still got some outs because he doesn't have surge.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have those surge shenanigans. I just don't quite think this is the right move.
It's a good thing he's marked where they started, so he can put them back exactly where they were. Belly nudge and all.
Because Scuddy can now just literally move through that gap
Bugger off.
and be uncontested. So
So he's a bit slow to the game here, but he has moved the golems up into the forest now. They're full speed. The gargoyles pivot, move their full 10, and pivot again because they're nimble. Ready to get shot at whatever comes their way. Who's winning, gents, is the dude who wins all the time. I mean, they both win pretty often, but Jeff is in a bit of a situation here. Traishy.
yeah, too close to call, Josh. I think Stephen, as soon as he got Scud, the big monster for the rats, as soon as he wasn't pinned down, now he's free to move around
yeah.
and fly around. I think he's got a lot more flexibility now, and what Tracy's trying to do is get everything out of range of it.
Yeah. And the whole point of the game is to sort of spread out, have a lot of units left to sort of cover each of the 6 sections.
So he can't really burn units.
No. And we're almost at the midway point. We should see units start to disappear in the next 2 turns, and that'll
Yeah.
clear things up. But again, keep Scuddy alive. He should be fine. Looks like he's done a little bit of damage with his hex casters onto that tangle. Over here. Probably not enough to take it off. Looks like only one point of damage. Maybe he's cast hex on it, so that thing doesn't want to cast its fireball and try and burn things. I think not pinning down that demon was the
Could cost him.
Yeah. Okay, looks like he's going to weaken that same weapon team that's already damaged to try and get a point of damage onto it. Looks like 2 successful casts. Goes to roll to damage and does 1. Can't quite see. Does something. Enough to cause a nerve check.
Yeah. And that's all he's trying to do. They've got relatively low nerve, even with the rally from Tangle.
Goes from 8, 10 to probably 9, 11. That doesn't look like he's done it. Okay, we go to combat. The Abyssal Champion in the top left rolls his 6 dice. Should be hitting on 3s now. Counter charge, all 6 hit.
Did he regen?
Can't tell. You'd think he did. He's only got 2 wounds, I think so, yeah. Checking the Inspiring or the Rally, one or the other. Looks like he's wavered the unit. Identified by the yellow marker. Now we've got some golems, 18 attacks on 4s.
Bit of a nothing fight, this one, anyway.
Yeah. Winning on 2s here. Ah, wait, forgot the plague pots, which means you'll be hitting on 5s.
Yeah.
Plague pots makes it ensnare, and snare is
Alexi, exactly. Regeneration, the best optional rule of your army. It's only a rule if you remember. That is the key.
Bit of contention here. What did I roll? I rolled this. Are you sure? Let's do it again.
Hands. I washed my hands. It's okay.
Let's do it all again.
This is pretty similar to how my math teacher used to teach me math. How many dice have I got in my left hand?
It still rolled pretty well to hit. 10. 10 hitting on 5s.
Jeepers.
Rolls nerve once, rolls nerve twice. Looks like he failed that second time. He's not taking the unit off the board.
Ronaldo here, building an Abyssal army at the moment. Yes, this checks out. Very true. And I'm sure that you're very happy with the changes in the Abyssal army that have just been rolled out.
Halfway champion in the forest, I believe. Just kicking some poor rat into the ground. 3 damage onto that entire horde.
Poking him right in the eye, and that's about it.
Then we've got the golems into the horde, I think.
Alexi, I totally agree there.
Yeah, regen
Even
5.
with the regen rule, when I remember, I just can't roll it.
Another good round of hitting. Another 10 damage.
I'm not sure about the green dice on the green mat, though.
No.
For the watchers. Hard to pick up.
Okay, looks like this was the Abyssal Regiment, so he's doing it twice. So 10 from the first round. This is the second round of rolling dice now. You double your attacks if you hit something in the flank. Unless it's individual, little person.
That's it.
Takes it off. As expected.
Unsurprising. Yeah, that one there was a bit of a sure thing.
Yeah.
It hits hard, that unit. Obviously, it's a little bit fragile. I'm sure that we're going to see a hell of a lot of shooting at it very shortly.
They did get a bit of a bump recently. They went from 14-16 nerve to 15-17, which has helped their survivability. Working on a Sunday and watching Masters. Yeah. Okay, looks like he's done another 7 damage onto this horde, giving it 10 total. There's probably no chance to take it off because of the rally.
You weren't too far off a Masters invite, even with only 3 games, Alexi. 26th overall last year. Sure, 1 or 2 more tournaments, and we'll see your name up here soon enough.
Okay, that's the end of turn 3. We are now over the halfway mark. Turn
the
4.
hump. Now the moving turn 4, where you really should be pivoting to how am I actually looking for scenario play.
Control's a bit easier because the entire board basically scores. You just have to be the one holding the most in it.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you're distributed. So
yep.
The way that Traishy deployed was very central. So now he's really got to make sure that he's got his right people in the right spots. So I'm glad you're back as well, Jeremy. Welcome. The summary here, Traishy made a couple of small mistakes early on in the first 2 turns, which has allowed Scuddy to have a little bit more free time in this turn 4.
That's the demon
we'll be able
on the left.
Yep, big boy. So yeah, he'll be able to move around and actually cause a bit of trouble here. He should be dead right now. Yep. He should be combo charged by big rocks in the rear and potentially the flank. Unfortunately for Traishy, he's still alive.
Yeah. The bottom half-breed regiment, like, what are they doing? I feel like these guys should have gone around and joined old mate and sort of taken out that
yeah.
It's not the case.
So, Alexi, the mistake, and you can go back and have a look, but a gargoyle troop had the opportunity to charge him in the front, which he did take. However, that's only works good. Works well if you've got a counter charge.
You need to follow up.
Yeah, you've got to make sure that the next turn that you get, you've got 2 units that can actually, or 3 units could have got in. Unfortunately, he committed to the half the plan. He tied it up for 1 turn, but didn't have anything to hit it in the 2nd turn. So that's where we are now, where it can just fly around and get out of trouble, or it can actually start to smack some things. So
Traishy had the opportunity to move the golems into the forest to be able to see that demon spawn and then charge him the next turn, but kept him out of the forest. That was the big thing.
That's it.
He would have got a flank or rear with the golems too, but I mean, Steve may have done things differently had that been the case, but this is how it played out.
Yep.
Yeah, used them as stall, didn't follow up.
Meanwhile, those tunnel runners are having a great old time.
Invite me to the party, guys. I want to do something. Sitting around, turning, kicking up some dust. Are the claw shots a threat to them? No. Claw shots are only doing 5 damage. Well, 5 shots. Wounding on 4s, so even like 3 rounds of shooting probably still won't be enough to take them off.
And you've got to remember, that same turn, he had a charge, so he was taking one of the troops of claw shots out. So it was only ever going to be 1 claw shot and potentially some lightning bolts.
On some defects 6
units. Which are going to be 5s and 5s. So, no, I think it was probably overthinking the situation a little bit, and then finally saw the charge with the gargoyles late, and then just didn't adjust other moves. That's all it was.
Jeff is getting on in age. This is about to happen.
Jeez. Still plays like he's a 20-year-old Traishy. Don't listen to this guy.
I love you, Trash.
So this is the big move for Stephen. It's like, what are you actually going to use
What's he going
the
to do
big
with
fella
Scotty?
for?
Yeah. You've got to get him out of the charge range, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Low blow. Facts, mate.
So he is lucky that he's got the defense 6 stones on the hill. So that's actually going to block a lot of line of sight for him. So he does have a couple of options.
Yeah, it just means this guy can't just zip over. I mean, there is a forest there, but he could go for them if he wanted. The half-reeds down the bottom, if he was in range. Probably isn't, maybe he's just out. So he's just running like the rat he is. Which is good. Again, keep him alive, you'll be fine.
Yes, Ronaldo, it would have been exactly the same Jeffrey Traish back in Warhammer 7th edition. So I remember playing Jeff back in 2007, I think it was, many, many moons ago in Fantasy.
So because of that move, it's pretty clear that that Demon Spawn is going to survive for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't get him into combat, he's still got a few rounds of Lightning Bolt that he can shoot. But he also scores. He's got unit strength 2, being a Titan.
Yeah.
Out comes the Lightning Bolts. Starting to ping away at the Half-Breed Regiment in the centre. And looks like we've got a couple of weapon teams now firing on the same target.
A 1, a 1, and a 2. It's not good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're probably over, or just on half damage now, plus Cloak of Death. Gotta remember Cloak of Death. That puts the golems on 9 damage. Okay, current control scores. Let me get my stick.
Get the stick.
Can't see where the green thingies are because they're all covered. Let's say here. That line is way too thin. Okay. How about now? Looks a bit better. So, looks like the grey is under the horde of the infantry, so if we go across this way, we'll say this. And it was something like this. So we have Traishy controlling his current centre. He's got his half-breeds here. I would think these guys are still in that, so it's solidly his. Same with the obsidian golems, all in that centre there. You'll have this one here, and you'll have the half-breed regiment on the right. There are golems, gargoyles of his up here, unit strength 1, but Steve has this guy, this guy, this guy. They all score. So Steve's got that top corner. Steve's also got this corner currently, and obviously in the middle with all of this rubbish. So it looks even right now.
And by rubbish you mean beautiful miniatures.
They're rats.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So Traishy should finish off the Rat Regiment next turn, and he will pivot. And I won't be surprised if he doesn't charge with the hero, like charge back. I think he might have a look at taking out some of those weapon teams.
Okay, looks like the Obsidian Golems have gone. They're finally taken off.
It opens the gate, though.
Welcome, Mod. Gaddafi. Sunday morning for you. Is it Sunday? It is Sunday, isn't it?
It is Sunday.
Okay. We're up to turn 5. No, we're still on 4. Blech. Jeff hasn't had his 4. Still doing the combats. The Horde against the half-breed champion in the forest, doing only a couple of wounds.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever a massive combat here. That was just purely to pin it down. They don't put out enough damage reliably.
And looks like 1 point of damage on the golems on the hill. No nerf roll because no point.
I do want to come back, Benson. Can you just let me know what that unit down on the far south is doing, mate?
Which far south?
Well, the only far south that we've got. Yeah. What are they doing?
Nothing.
They haven't done anything.
They're not doing nothing. They moved back a bit.
You can see where they were like 4 turns ago.
Yeah. Maybe he's forgot about them.
Maybe. A little bit of regen there. Now, what's he going to do with these guys? I think he's thinking about charging.
He's moved the counter. That defense in the depth forming in the center of both sides looks pretty tight at the moment. What are the 50 mil models at the center of the Ratkin side? Yeah, we've got a couple of weapon teams right there. There's 3 all sort of bunched up here. 3 weapon teams.
There's a fair bit going on in that center bit.
There will be a Brute Enforcer in there somewhere, I think. Or maybe the Brute Enforcer is up the top and one of them is... No, one's got to be Mother Chrysler because she was doing the Cloak of Death. Damaging everyone every time it hits Stephen's movement phase.
Oh, very true, JP. Maybe you just can't see him down there. They're too close to him.
I was going to say something about Jeff's belly, but maybe I won't.
He's already used that tactic once.
Yeah, now it's to his detriment. You can't see it. We love you, Jeff.
So he is overcommitting to killing this regiment. I think it's already on double figures. I think it's on like 10 wounds.
I mean, it does get them out of the forest because they can only move 5. So if you charge something, you can get double your speed.
Although that was the only thing that was holding that table quarter. So
well, you can sort of trundle it back a bit if need be in the next couple of turns.
Yeah, he's also got the unit that hasn't done anything all game if he needs it to just do a bit of a pivot and jump over there.
I thought better of mentioning Belly. He's a former kickboxing champion.
He is?
Yes.
That's actually true. He is a former kickboxer.
Apparently he was world champion for a couple of years, between 1990 and 94.
I don't know, we'll update his wiki page at some stage.
And now he's world champion of Kings of War. For a bit.
For a bit.
In my heart he is, anyway. Another sneaky tactic covering the view, so we can't see what he's doing.
Yeah, that's it. All of a sudden there's another regiment that pops up in there. That's right.
That half-breed champion moves back and starts to charge one of the weapon teams, get them off the board because they are
I think
killers.
It's the Enforcer that he's charged there.
Let me have a double look.
So the regiment has charged the Enforcer and the individual charged a weapon team.
Enforcer? Mother Chrysler? And we have 3 weapon teams?
3 weapon teams, soon to be 2.
Which are those 2 over there?
Broodmother and Enforcer.
Okay. Yeah, so 3 weapon teams. Discharged a weapon team in the centre. Mother Prizer is the one just above the half-breeds in the centre. The Brute Enforcer is the one with the yellow token in the top left, with another Brood Mother in the lake next to him. It's looking, yeah, it's hard to tell who's in the lead right now. Yep, it's a lot in the middle. This is not
Just
dominate.
gonna jump on mute for a little bit while the kettle boils.
Okie doke. Yep, regeneration is happening. He's decided to use it this turn. They finally decided to spring into action by walking up a hill. Those half-breeds joining the fray. So next turn they should be able to charge whatever they want. Pretty clear line of sight. That horde is visible in the forest, and then you've got all the weapon teams that you can kill. Looks like there's a rules query coming up now. And just while they're waiting, let me have a look at what the current clocks are sitting at. We've got Devenish on 19 minutes and 26 seconds, while Traishy's got 22:45 left on his clock. Not too bad considering we're about to hit 2 more turns after this. 10 minutes a turn. Devenish will be fine. Not sure what it is they're needing clarification on, but I won't put in my 2 bob because we're on live and I don't want to be made a fool of.
It could be actually a query about the kickboxing in those
Right.
years. I'm not really sure. Could be about who's actually in charge of the Wikipedia page.
Cheers, Barry, for the donation. You can get another drink.
If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Something. That's what I hear other people say. So I feel like we're obliged to do it.
You don't have to like it, just subscribe.
And while you're doing it after this, jump onto Caffeinated Warlord and a couple of others. Try and support all of us YouTubers.
Again, thanks again, Barry. It's good to have people on chatting, enjoying what we do. Alright, looks like that query's over and we're off to the races. See ya, infantry. Get crumped. And then we can see the marker, the grey marker there, which sort of pinpoints the crossroads of the sections for the scenario. Having defeated the regiment, he's pivoting the unit to stare down the horde.
Yeah, just not allowing, obviously, that horde to sneak through that gap, I think is the main thing that he wanted there. He doesn't want that the unit that has only just moved for the first time to be charged in the first turn. It's got to be strange.
Seems it's very weird doing careful work and watching it for hobby at the same time. You enjoy what you enjoy. Definitely watch Death by Dragons, Hordes of Things, Newbie Dice, and Master Sight, to name a few. Looks like some more combat's going on now, rolling the nerve check to see if he takes them off. Looks like Traishy forgot to cast his weakness, so Devenish is allowing him to do that now, even though we're past the shooting phase.
What a
Thanks,
good man
Adrian.
Stephen is.
Certainly not everyone would do that.
Indeed.
Okay, getting a bit of pressure here. Targets aren't being clearly labelled and we're starting to miss things.
It's late in the day of day 2, though.
So rolling the nerve checks again, once and twice. That half-breed champion taking out one of the weapon teams, overrunning.
Yep.
It should be enough to get somewhere. I can't see what he rolled. Maybe a 1? Okay. Not far enough.
No bueno.
And for those who are new, if anything charges a war engine, you get triple attacks regardless of what kind of unit you
Even
are.
an individual. That's
Yeah.
right.
What's the temperature on the court? I don't know, I'm pretty cool. But it's actually not too bad. It's very mid. It's not cold, it's not warm. Although this jacket is making me warm.
Well, that's it. So Canberra, over in our state's capital of ACT, it's currently 25 degrees with a
Celsius?
humidity of 24%. Yes, that is Celsius, not Fahrenheit, because nobody else uses Fahrenheit. American. We've got no chance of rain, and it's going to have a slight westerly wind that's going to pick up a little bit at dinner time, but it should be fine on the way home.
There's your second job. Weatherman. Alright, smacking down onto probably Mum Chrysler. I think that's what we've got in combat.
Mm-hmm. But Mother Chrysler does ensnare. I wonder if Traishy's taken that into account.
Mother Chrysler is defense 5 with 13-15 nerve, so not the easiest.
No,
to get rid of.
not with ensnare. So I'm assuming this one here is against Mother C.
The Horde. Taking out the Horde.
Okay.
With the half-breeds, leaving the tunnel runners free to charge on Stephen's next turn.
And he really wants to make sure that he kills Mother Chrysler in this turn, or else he's going to get a flanky flank.
Yep. That may have already been done. You think you would do that first because of the Inspiring, or maybe the Tangle Inspires as well? No, it's done. Didn't kill it this turn.
Yikes.
On to turn 5.
Yikes.
We're coming to the end of the match. Still a lot on the board, considering. Stephen busting out the MDF Horde marker just to see where it can end up, so he doesn't have to touch his model and stuff up the placement. Can you look at getting the actual battle mat bigger next year? Some of this screen is full of the graphics around. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely can.
We'll make the graphic bigger. Okay, looks like the Brute Enforcer runs out and charges the Gargoyles over on the top left. Will be a hindered charge. It's got 3 attacks, might not even do a damage. But that half-breed champion is still there, hasn't charged it. It's sitting just on the edge of that fence there, beside the white ship. Bless you. Heard that one. Claw shots are still free. Maybe it was a claw shots. I don't know. I don't know what that yellow marker means. Looks like he's going for a flank instead with the Brood Mum. Again hindered. Leaving the Enforcer where it is. No, Enforcer's going in front as well. Taking it back. Come on, what's going on, fellas? What are you doing? What are you doing? Maybe he's double checking everything. Okay. Back on track. Both the Enforcer and the Broodmom into the front and flank of the Gargoyle troop. The Claw Shot's now free to do something, so he pivots them, moves them forward, looking to take the bottom left corner, I am going to assume. Big old Scuddy, the demon spawn of Dew. Dew? I don't know. D-I-E-W. It's a weird word.
I've just been saying Hugh the whole time.
Demon spawn of Hugh? Yeah, why not? We'll do that. Looks like he's trying to see if he can see the half-breed regiment on the right there. It's a big boy. Maybe it's not angled correctly. And I think he has concluded that it is not in arc, so he can't charge it.
I think just based off these couple of moves here, I reckon Stephen's in the box seat now.
Yep.
So I reckon Tangle comes down and charges the furthest right unit.
Yeah.
We've got a flank charge. We'll have to move a weapons team, but then a flank charge with the
Half-breed? Oh, it's the tunnel runners?
tunnel runners. And the Tangle won't kill that unit in a turn,
Nah.
but
Doesn't need
the tunnel runners certainly will.
I mean, it'll be coming off a hill, so it's not like it won't have any armor penetration. And it's 9 attacks hitting on 4s.
It's an annoying unit. It needs support to be able to kill. But I reckon once you do that, you're just going to knock out that center unit.
Yeah. But he's doing it the other way instead. So front charge into the half-breed regiment by the tunnel runners.
Should be both fronts from there, if that's the case.
Or just step back and blast them with weapon team fire. But there is a...
No, I'd be
annoying
attacking
half-breed
the ones that are next to the red house. That's the one I'd be pew-pewing, because that should be the only one that's left.
Tangle is moving, pivoting. Looks like he's going to try and get him in range of that half-breed just north of the house to blast him with Fireball, I reckon.
Use the weapon team to chaff up. A great second use of the weapons team, might I add. And
looks like Stephen's still holding some of that, some of his army back to claim the sections for the scenario, because there's still that Vermintide that's not doing anything at the north of the hill, as well as the regiment. And at the moment, Jeff has no way to get around and catch them. Yeah, the tangle space probably was a bit too big.
Yeah, potentially. It's hard to... It'll be down to millimeters, I think. Because at the moment, that's a 100 mil side base.
Alright, he's moving the infantry regiment into the half-breed champion, it looks like. The horde of infantry pivoting in the forest. I don't think he's going to charge the golems, he's trying to survive.
It's very true. JP, Stephen Devenish, plays in Canberra quite a lot. Home ground advantage.
Scuddy moving across it just a little bit, pivoting and sitting right behind the infantry regiment. Looking imposing. Need to get me one of those 3D printed steppers to use for these hills. Lift up units like this so they don't flop like what's happening right now. Okay, what else is we doing? We've got a Vermintide here who's about to maneuver and just moves him back. Run away.
So my only concern for Stephen would be that he still hasn't started to spread out yet. So at the moment, he's contesting his central,
yep.
and maybe the right. Okay, he started to move a little bit now.
And I think he still might have the top left as well.
Yeah,
he's definitely got the top left, while Jeff has the bottom left with those Obsidian Golem Horde. So we've got the weapon team fire, I believe this is. Only 2 damage onto the half-breeds, putting them to 10. Lightning bolt from Scotty into the same target. Looks like he missed. I'm guessing cover didn't... Well, played a bit of a part there. I did see a couple of 4s. Steppers at Convict were very handy indeed. Looks like Tangle has taken a wound, or had a wound. I'll just put up the scenario lines once more.
Yeah.
So we're looking at this. Ugh, that's not a line, that's a pencil. Okay, let's try that again. So, like, yep. Bit wonky, but you get the idea. And where is the other one? It's probably under the tunnel runners, I think. Something like here. And then we're going to run across like that.
Yes, Alexi, you're spot on there. So the claw shots do have a bit of a fine run down. It will be, there's no surge in this list from my understanding. So those Obsidian Golems are going to have to pivot heavily, reform, to be able to start to compete.
Looks like we've got the nerve check. Once more for the inspiration, rolls 3. That should be enough. Yep, anything but double 1s. Another control piece gone for Traishy.
He's losing units pretty quick.
Looking like a reasonable win here. Unless Traishy can keep these things alive.
Yeah, just a reminder, if Traishy loses here, like say a 4-17, it really opens the door up for 2 other people. So Stephen has to win big to come through here. He'd have to win like a 20-1. But it does open the door up for Paul C, who's playing on another table.
And Jeff's really can't move much now. He's got to go forward. But he might not have much left. So Tunnel Runners take out that half-breed champion. Half-breed regiment, and pivot to face the centre.
Yep, yeah, that's the right move. It's obviously going to still claim one of those 6th and have the ability to move to claim whatever they need to.
And he's got one more turn to do it, possibly a 7th, but we don't count on a 7. Paul versus AG. Looks like they're still going. I can see AG's got his measuring stick out. And there's some furious pointing going on. They're on the other side of the venue, so I can't make out exactly what's happening.
So just if we do go around the grounds a little bit here. So Damien Madigan has taken on Kakwa in the last round and has defeated Kakwa. And the only other round that has completed is Stephen Tuck versus Ed Hammock. And Stephen Tuck has got his first win of the Masters tournament and taken that one out in round.
Hey, he's not on the bottom. Alright, Jeff's turn 5 moves the golems around. Clawshots won't be able to escape that, I don't think. So he can still move those individuals. Bit of a sticky situation here. He's doing his regen on the half-breed regiments now. A lot of dice, a lot of damage.
A lot of rolls.
It's another 4 healing, but he's still got 7 on that unit. I don't think he's going to be able to come back from this one.
No, it's just how does he mitigate the loss from here, I think. He's just lost too many scoring units in the last 2 turns.
He can't get to the bottom right, definitely can't get to the top right. He might be able to claim one of the left. And I'm sure Devenish is going to push with all of his army to try and claim Traishy's centre.
As he should. And as should Traishy, to be honest. He should be pushing up very heavily against that horde.
Has to push back.
And then push forward into that to make sure that Stephen has to overcommit unit strength inside his defensive centre.
Doing here, he's going to try to double charge the Obsidian Golems and the half-breed regiment.
Which should be enough. I think it's sitting there on 9 wounds currently.
And if you overrun, you push forward into the centre.
Yep. Tunnel runners are probably the only threat there that won't be quite able to pivot.
Greetings from Argentina.
Greetings from Argentina.
Welcome. Come just in time to see the crux, the climax of this game. To decide the master for the year. Both players have been masters before, Devenish being last year's master. True, if he does get through, he might be able to push for the draw, depending on how the dice roll.
That's how it works, Benson.
Looks like he's tried to do some damage on the Tangle, I guess. Maybe the tunnel runners try and waver them, but nothing happened.
Nah. That was a Hail Mary, that one.
Looks like he must have damaged one of the weapon teams. And the weapon team is not within many rally. But is within inspiring range, rolls it again and gets it off. Celebrating the win. Finally removing one of the weapon teams.
Can hear the jubilation.
Half-breed jump into the brute enforcer in the top left. 6 attacks on 4s because of being hindered. Wounding on 3s, 2 wounds. $12 total, gets the reroll. Reroll takes it. That's 1 more down. Leaving just the Broodmother and the claw shots in the top left. We've got to do this big combat now.
Yep.
So we've 18.
And it's got to be good.
16 from the regiments. Both hindered.
4s and 2s with rerolls for the golems.
5s if they're hindered.
If they're hindered, yes. Can't tell whether they are.
There's not many dice, so I'm guessing so. 4 wounds from the golems.
Underwhelming.
Putting the horde on 7 by the looks. And now it's the half-breed regiment turn to try and pick up the slack. Not a good roll so far. 6 hits, 5 wounds. Putting him up to 12, he needs a big roll.
Nah.
Or is that more than 12? I can't tell. 18 doesn't do it. Not even a waiver. Half-breed champion in the centre, attacking the War Machine. Triple attacks, so he's got 18 now.
Surely this is another one. We can't have these guys still mucking about.
Fair few hits. Most of these should convert. Only 6 damage. Doesn't need a high roll. Does it once. Does he do it twice? He does. Hey, they're all out. No more shooting from those guys. Just the lightning bolts and fireballs now. And he moves the half-breed champion back. Alright, so now we've got the other one into Mum Kreiser.
Mama. With ensnare though, makes it a little bit tricky.
3s go to 4s because of ensnare. And then it should be 4s to damage because of crushing 1. Not a bad start.
Can't quite see how many units are on there. How many wounds, sorry?
Yeah. Looks like he's done 6 damage though.
Which is a fair bit.
This should be enough.
Yeah,
look
Mother
like
Cries
it's
is what,
been-
13, 15,
Yeah.
so...
Does it once.
Yeah.
Does it twice.
Yep.
Okay, half-breed regiment should pivot to face the tunnel runners.
Yep. Yep. And accept its fate, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because...
As long as he's made sure that's in the front. And that's the end of his turn. We're up to 6, the potential last turn of the tournament.
So...
Looks like
Yeah,
a
what have
close
we
match
got?
right now. AD holding the centre. Likewise for Ratkin. Ratkin can't take both left flanks without the Obsidian Golem saying something about it. Indeed.
And they are loudspeakers when they need to be. So...
Alright, Demon Spawn of Hugh jumping into the flank. Huh? Is that how it was angled? Of that regiment that the tunnel runners would charge?
Oh, it would be tight. It would be tight.
Or maybe he's just charging the front of the thing, but because the model is so spiky and whatnot, he's just pivoting it for convenience. The infantry going into the half-breed champion, and the tunnel runners into the front of the half-breeds.
Yep. So Scuddy will take that unit off. They're already on significant wounds.
7 at least.
Yep. Yep.
13 attacks on 3s from the big boy. And
We
he's
should
double
have,
charging.
double charge here. Just make that a sure thing. I think the tunnel runners should have been able to do it. Tangle just makes that a little bit easier. He's got to continue to move the smaller.
Vermintide holding
Yep,
the
Vermintide.
centre, turning it around
Yep.
to face, I guess, if there's a 7, just to see what happens. Can't quite see where the grey marker they're using for the scenario is. It looks like it's right underneath the tunnel runners.
Yeah.
What,
If
what
we can, we'll
position
chuck
they
up the grids again.
are. Okay. Might just leave them on.
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so we've got... Ooh. That's a bit of a weirdo angle. Let's get rid of that one. Then that's not even a proper line. Okay. Can I see it? It's probably on the left, rightish side of that. So it looks like this. From what I can tell. And sort of across there. Can I move that up? It wasn't good. That's a bit better. More like this. Paint me a grid, Benson. Off goes the Brood Mum on the far left to contest that section. Not currently scoring it, but the Obsidian Golems have to make a choice. I think you'd just charge the claw shots because you can take them off, get a bit of attrition, and claim that section.
And then you'd get your hero to obviously
Unit in
charge
bottom
the
right
individual.
is dead.
Yep.
I'll just put a little marker here. Yep.
There we go.
Okay, we've got no real shooting, so it's all combats here. This looks like one of the hordes, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's in a very powerful position now, isn't he? So
he's
he's
on
going
the
to
top
take
ones.
off both of these two regiments of Cav are dead. So he's going to have significant unit strength there.
Double one.
Oof.
Double one on that half-breed.
Oof.
Devenish complaining, both streams, double ones. It was a little bit of a break for Traishy there. Holding that means the tunnel runners can't push forward.
Yeah. Well, it's not only that. Unless he's devastated, he can actually start to do some damage. I'm not sure how many wounds Tangle's on. You'd probably want to take out the tunnel runners anyway.
And as you thought, Demon Spawn easily clears the field for that.
Yeah. Tunnel runners, what, 14, 16? So...
If they do take out that horde and push through, they might claim Devenish's section. The Demon Spawn will be contesting Traishy's section, depending on where I've drawn my line and if it was accurate.
Yeah, that's it. It's always a little bit difficult depending on the angle of the camera. It's not always perfectly over the top. We try our best, but there's a few bumps and tweaks, and anytime you've got to turn off the camera and turn on the camera, it's slight adjustments every time.
Okay, half-breeds have taken 5 damage. That shouldn't be enough, surely. He needs a double 6. And that's the end of his round. Off to the bottom of the 6th.
Bottom of the 6th and potentially the last turn of Masters.
Golems charges the claw shots as we thought. Half-breed champion zooms off to the Brood Mum. Regens 1 of its damage in case there's a turn 7. So Trash might be able to save that bottom left section by taking out that character. Then claim the top left.
Or it gets to a turn 7.
Demon Spawn is currently facing, it looks like, towards the center. Well, not the center, but he's facing this way. I need my pencil, not my stick. That's what the model's currently doing, whether or not that's actually what's happening. Regen 5 on the half-breeds.
Ooh.
Still 6 or 7, depending on how he's got those chips stacked.
It's needed though. It helps to avoid any sort of devastation.
The giant observes the field from above. Seeing if there's any tricks that he can pull. So he's got that half-breed champion still there. And he's positioned it, I think he might be charging the demon spawn into the side. Won't get the double attacks because he's an individual, but if you can ground him, that might help. This means he can't fly over the top of things. One of the hex casters moves over behind the half-breed regiment on the hill. Not sure what he's measuring. Putting it next to the house. Gone back home.
Yeah.
Is that enough for the day?
No, fair enough, Sue.
Brew a tea.
Chamomile. Good stressful.
Okay, looks like we're throwing some dice at the tangle once more. 3 dice, hex and or weakness. Oh, he's doing it on Scotty. 1 success. No wounds. And another spell being flung. 1 success. No wounds.
So I'm guessing the regiment that Snake Eyes is countercharged against Tangle? Given it hasn't moved?
You'd think. I mean, he's done the regen roll for it, so
Yeah.
it's certainly hitting something. But what? I'm guessing this is a combat on the far left. Wasn't able to take him out. Or double checking. No, wavered.
Not a bad result if there's a 7.
I think this is the golems now, hitting on 5s. Reasonable, considering.
And 2s reroll 1s.
8.
Oof.
That
Mind
would
you,
be
they're
getting
close shots,
close.
so.
Yeah, that's enough to get to beyond their route range and roll the double. Double 1. It's still there.
Surely not.
Another double 1.
It doesn't really matter, I guess. The unit strength's there, but
Yeah. Well, that's a big thing, not being able to remove that and push forward.
yeah.
That's not what you want on the last turn. Possibly last turn. I can feel the stress now. Half-breed regiment must be doing this damage even though it hasn't moved. Fair few wounds though.
Yeah, they're pretty reliable. 6 attacks, 3s. Crush 2.
With vicious.
Yeah. Very vicious. Alexi, I agree. Turn 7 is going to be
Does it
very
once.
big, particularly with that Snake Eyes. Both Snake Eyes, to be honest.
Okay, so he fought the tangle and he couldn't move over because of the demon spawn. That's why.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And so he's just moved over a little bit. They need to die on turn 7, if there is a 7.
It's going to be a big roll. So Tangle has been tangled.
I think we've got the obsidian golems on the top fighting some poor rats with guns.
Mm-hmm.
6 damage. Rolls a nerve once, and it's off.
Yeah.
Got some points there. Pivots around for the 7. Oh, pivots towards the centre. What? Pivots it back towards the... Not sure. Rolling for the 7 now. That's it, they're done. Game over.
That's it. So what do we got? So top left is the Abyssal Dwarfs.
Definitely.
So that's going to be 1 for Traishy. Centre, I think the Rats are going to have it purely with that Horde and Regiment and other little troopy thing. Nothing on the top right. Bottom left is going to be Ratkin with that wavered unit.
Mm-hmm.
And down in the centre is going to be probably Abyssal Dwarves, I think. So they're going to have 2 unit strength 3s. Yep. I think that's going to be it. And bottom right. Does it have to be majority in?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah. So I think if that's the case, depending on the lines, obviously, I think that will be a nothing as well.
So Traishy's got his own. Devenish has got his own. Is it a draw? Because I'm not sure where that tunnel runner is sitting.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That tunnel runner will be important. So I think at the moment is Senna. Stephen Senna's his, so 1 plus that bottom left 2. And Traishy will have exactly the same, right?
Yeah, so Jeff has this one. Steve has this one. Steve has got this one. Jeff has certainly got that bottom, his one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. So it's going to be
It's just whether or
unit
not-
strength 6 to...
Okay, where are the tunnel runners? Where are they sitting? Hang on a sec. Ugh.
Benson's getting up. Is he going to have a look?
Because it looked...
That's 24 there. Yeah, that's 24 there. How does that work? Oh,
There's something going on.
yeah. Can we move this out of the way?
Mm-hmm.
It's not really relevant now.
Yeah. Remember, that's got to be up touching that.
Yeah.
So let's push that in.
Yep.
Nah, sorry. So there.
Because looking at the marker that you've put underneath it as well, like... Yeah...
Benson's getting involved. Love this.
That's about.
Yep, so we'll hold that up.
So let's move that back so it doesn't.
Do you want to put your little doofer whackers?
So we know the rest, right?
Yep.
Just going to get to the sill.
It's close.
It is close.
Hmm.
Because the second one's more than that, but the front's on.
It looks more central, based on that. As in, more in the
Like the thing
centre
is
too.
right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. It's like cuts through the centre of it. So it's more at the top end, but it's less on this end.
It's a weirdo angle.
Yeah.
If they're trying to say that that's in the bottom right, no, definitely not.
A line through like
Just going like,
a laser.
yeah.
Where's the 24 there, though?
I'm happy for a neutral third party.
Yeah, I think we need.
I mean, the lines that I've drawn on the stream probably aren't super accurate, but
No.
it's still at this weirdo spot. 'Cause to us, it looks more central, but yeah.
Too hard to tell from up here.
Look at that. That's rubbish. What is that? What is that? What is that in? You get nothing.
You have to have chosen the turn before.
Otherwise, you get nothing, isn't
I think
it?
that's the way it's working.
That's the way. Yeah, it is in the rules. Have to choose which quarter you're going to be in before the.
Well, either way, like I think they're going to be.
If we saying it's a split, I'll just do a... Yeah, okay. If not, I'll just do a roll. If you get it, you're in that one. If you don't...
If Steve doesn't want to make a call, then both guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's going to have a
Oh,
look.
here we go. Yeah. Tio.
Talk us through what's happening, Benson.
So they're getting TO to have
Yep.
an input because it looks almost dead center, that unit. So we're not sure whether or not, and like you have to declare where they're going to be
Yeah.
before you move them. You can't just after the fact, oh, they're over here.
Yeah, exactly right. It just based on your lines, it looks very center, but
All right, so it's been decided that they're in this corner. You can see my hand; it's in this one.
50, so
so it's in the corner.
Yep, that's what it has
So,
been ruled.
so that means that at 4+ just decided the game.
And then we have Stephen 1 there
Yeah.
because of this guy. He's sort of in there. So 3-2. Shit is getting real. Decides who's going to be the master of that one thing. Oh, it was millimeters. We had to get 7 people looking at the thing to determine. Well, that was it.
Yep.
That's a good game.
Yeah, no, it was a good game. Came down to a couple of snake eyes, to be honest, because all of a sudden we don't get that snake eyes charge us through. That means that Traishy gets that top unit. That
Now,
top,
does that
double
mean
points.
Traishy jumps down to second? He might still be far enough ahead to take first place.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be, depending upon the attrition, obviously. It's not pretty. There's a lot of points that Traishy still got.
I'll just jump over to this other screen. Whew. I don't know if it's the stress of the game or if it's the temperature in the room or this jacket, but I'm starting to get a bit sweaty. It's been an excellent tournament, I think. It's been 5 great games by a lot of excellent plays and some not so excellent. I'm not going to say who. And I guess we'll have to wait to see when the scores are submitted. Who is going to be the reigning champion?
Yeah, Max has defeated Adam Story.
Yep.
Who Max was sitting in 5th place at that point. We've had Luke Schaefer come through and have a win against Matt Trewella in the last round. And I think we've had Lyle Marsden has had a win over Dan Harwood as well.
Right down the bottom. Okay, come on, fellas. Enter in your scores so we can take a look. And I can say who won for the stream and then get out of here. We've got a long drive back to Melbourne. To Bendigo. The suspense. Yes, indeed.
So it really does depend. So Paul Collins had to have a significant win over AG. So that's really where we need to find out the result. So that hasn't been submitted yet. I'm not sure if the game's still ongoing.
Looks like pens are out over on that table. And they're calculating the points there.
May have to send you over as a foreign correspondent, Benson.
All right. I'll be back in a sec. Hang on a moment. Go to the table.
So just to recap here, Stephen, it's come down to 2 snake eyes in turn 6 on both sides. And Stephen has won it 3-2. Very, very true mode. He does look pretty swish in the suit. It's usually a lot hotter than it is currently. You're on mute, Mr. Benson, I think.
I'm back. Let me just change back again. Alright, so there has been a bit of a big win on Andrew's side. 5 sections to 0, and I think around about 1,500 points attrition difference. So that might actually put Andrew up. Andrew Goodman was currently sitting at 56 points before.
So he needed, I think, a 21 win to come through, and with a Traishy loss of 17-4 from memory. So it sounds like he's done half of the deal. But given that this was relatively tight with a 3-2 scenario, and I think Traishy's probably up on attrition.
It might be a 14-7, 15-6.
Yeah, I'm thinking a 15-6, just eyeballing it. So I think Traishy by a couple, 3 or 4 points from AG.
Thanks, Mod. Yes, I dress up for this event. Add a little bit of class. Everyone else is wearing shorts and shirts. So yeah, there was, 15 points before the game started. It'll be very, very close. Devenish was on 54, putting him up. He's probably going to come third, you think? Traishy, Andrew, and then Devenish. So no one has gone throughout this tournament undefeated?
No. It's unusual, to be honest. So Alexi checking for the Queenslanders. Luke beat Matt. Yes, correct. Max beat Adam. That's correct. Lyle beat Dan, and Tucky defeated Ed. That's correct.
Come on, fellas, are the scores submitted?
No.
Come on. It just hasn't updated, I guess, on this app. I am refreshing, and it still says nothing.
And sometimes it does refresh a little bit slowly. So sometimes the scores come through. Sorry, the results come through, but the scores don't.
Does it like refresh every 10 minutes or something?
Yeah, or something like that.
Maybe
It
I'll ask
seems
one
to
of the TOs
stack up.
behind me to see if they've got a better result. So just give me a second. Screen wipe.
Well, hopefully everyone's enjoyed the cast. Unfortunately, not all three of us could get up there to help support Benson, but yeah, hopefully the streams come through. We're going to continue to keep improving this whole process. The more streaming that we do with additional cameras and things, yeah, work in progress.
All right, let's call it. I'm going to call it.
All right, sounds good to me.
So it sounds like Jeff
Are we-
Traishy is once again the Australian master. It was like a 14-7, possibly a 13-8, putting
Okay.
him up to 78 points. AG had a big win, but even then, if it was like an 18 or 19,
Yeah, it'd still be a couple short.
yeah, that would put him about second, with Devenish creeping up to third, and Paul Collins drops back a bit. He might be fourth. So let's just say it now. If you want to, if we want to have a look online, look at the companion, the tournament scores, I'm sure it'll update eventually. But let's do it now. Australia's 2024 Australia Kings of War Masters. There we go. Too late
That's
there.
it. I'll pop
Congrats.
down a link. I'll pop down a link in the comments very shortly, just to where to find the links, just in
Yep.
case there is, and you'll be able to see all the results, the win loss, absolutely everything, as well as who came first, second, third.
That's
So,
right. And thanks everyone who's jumped on and was watching and commenting and keeping us company. Made it a lot easier to get through this.
now, and on behalf of everyone, Benson, thank you for traveling the 14 hours or the 15 hours, setting everything up by yourself. Much appreciated for not just me personally, obviously a part of the team, but as a wider community. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much, and thanks for joining for Sunday remotely. That is also
Happy to help
very
out.
helpful. Okay, guys, thanks again for joining us on this stream, and we'll see you some other time. Right, catch you guys.
See you guys.